Your music is personal. It's your passion. It's your view from your little corner of the universe. It's sacred, it's special, it's your legacy. Branding is what brings people to the storefront to buy your music. That's right, baby, we in business. Cha-ching. What's going on, guys? I'm Shug Daniels from Gable Music Ventures. Excited to bring another tips and tricks video for you today. We've worked here at Gable Music Ventures with a plethora of artists, some who've had spectacular branding, very eye-catching, very engaging, and some not so much. We wanted to make this video to communicate to you guys, give you a little question, give you a little insight on what branding is and how it can help your music career. We want to keep you guys working, we want to keep you looking professional, acting professional, so grab some pen and some paper because we're going to get busy. Just a heads up, I'm going to be dropping lots of names for apps and for websites that you can be using to help with your branding, so be sure to write them down or to visit our description box and check out the links there. What is branding, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. Simple answer is it's how your marketing makes people feel. The long answer, though, really the meat and potatoes of it, is how you want your audience, your fans, promoters, booking agents to feel about you. It's one of the largest parts of marketing. Marketing is how you choose to communicate this beautiful, wonderful, well put together branding to the audience. I know some artists are very funny, very strange about words like branding and marketing. They think it takes the truth, the soul out of the art and all that stuff. But listen, if you want to make a living doing what you love, then it's better for you to get comfy with these words and with these terms because it's going to help you in the long run. Now, make no mistake, setting your brand and marketing it correctly will steer the correct fans and audience in your direction. And that's what you want. You want them to stay hooked on what you got. You want them to be devoted, so every time you drop some stuff, they keep coming back for more. Now for this particular video, we're gonna be focusing more on branding and not so much on marketing, but be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned because we'll be making another one for you soon where we'll dig into marketing and how you can do it on the DIY scene. Now, I know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but bear with me as I literally give you book cover examples to better explain what branding is. Now, let's take a romantic novel, right? You see a romantic novel, you usually know what it is right when you look at it. It's got a couple on the cover and some kind of steamy embrace, maybe like script font for the heading, purple, pink, really, sassy, beautiful stuff that we got going on. Versus like a thriller or a mystery novel, right? You got lots of shadows in the background, you got big bold font. When you pick up these two books, you know for a fact that you're getting yourself into two very different situations. Just by looking at them, it gives you different feelings. That's branding, baby. That's what I'm talking about. If that still doesn't make any sense to you, I'll do something a little easier. I'll take two music artists, two different bands, two different genres, and compare the two, right? So let's take Britney Spears. When you think about Britney Spears and you think about her marketing and her branding, what is it? It's pink, it's bubblegum, it's pretty little girl stuff. You know that you're getting yourself into some pop music before you ever hit play, right? All right, now let's think about the emo rock gods, My Chemical Romance. I love that band. It was like one of my favorite bands when I was a teenager growing up. Just looking at them, I just thought they were the coolest guys. I don't know why. They had the all black everything, the eyeliner. It spoke to my little teenage heart. Think about the branding in that. They're two different things. Before you ever listen to those music, if you put those two CDs, they're two biggest CDs up next to each other, you're gonna know you're getting yourself into two very different situations. That's what branding is, y'all. All right, y'all, now that we have a better understanding of what branding is, let's get into branding for you. Let's do a little journal entry together, if we shall. Boom! Bring the journal entry up there, right there. So, we're gonna ask ourselves, what do I want people to feel when they listen to my music, and what do I want people to see when they see me? The second step is knowing who your audience is. It's just as important as knowing who you are because it'll better help you create and curate the branding that is specific to them. Is your audience listening to Drake? Are they listening to Adele, U2? Does your music, does your brand vibe with that? Is everything good? And be honest with yourself because it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of money. If you want to be the next Yo Gabba Gabba, make music for kids, play kids' birthday parties, that's really cool if you want to do that. You're definitely going to keep your timeline squeaky clean. You don't want no baby mama drama on there. You don't want to be partying, drinking, smoking, doing all that. You don't want that. You want to keep everything nice and branded. Once you figure out what you want, it's really important to keep it consistent throughout. Your language, your image, your views, everything needs to be the same through your music, your social media pages, your dialogue, wherever you go. And remember, it doesn't matter if you're Michael Jackson or Ozzy Osbourne, who are both, critically acclaimed and loved throughout the universe. Everybody has a very specific brand. So you gotta find yours, stick with it. All right, y'all, now that you got that under your belt, you got that knowledge in your head, let's move right along to some different ways that you can implement some branding today. First up, we're gonna talk about logos. So when it comes to logos, you can have a graphic-based logo or a text-based logo. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but it's the first step to getting people used to your presence. I personally prefer graphic-based logos. I think they're a bit more enticing to the eyes, but it's not 100% necessary. I like them because it opens up an avenue for collaboration and you can get really creative with it. Some graphic-based logos are so good that you don't even need to read the name of the band to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Think about the Grateful Dead Bears. Think about Black Flags for bars. Think about the Fire Dancer for Dave Matthews Band. The W for Weezer? Come on. You know what band it is? You know you love them when you just see that logo. I personally love to collaborate with artists that I know because it gives me a chance to strengthen my network. You also get a chance to utilize their fan base. When you have an artist who does album art for you or your logo, they're gonna be more apt to share it because they want their work to be seen. If you don't know anyone personally, you can always go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, put up a post that you're working on something and see who bites. You also can maybe get some good prices that way too. You can also use freelancer websites like freelancer.com, fiverr.com, upwork.com, Craigslist, LinkedIn. Somebody somewhere is going to want to put in some work for you, I promise you that. On the flip side of that are going to be our text-based logos. To me, they're not as fun or as engaging as the graphics, but they get the job done. You can go to websites like 1001fonts.com and check out all the different fonts that they have. See what strikes a chord. If you're working on a shoestring budget and you can't afford to buy any fonts, a little tip is you can search whatever font that you like in Google along with the word free. You can download it and save it for future use. Make sure you're licensing it properly for commercial use if you plan on putting it on any merchandise and selling it. There are some open font license choices available, but not too many, so be sure to do your research before you start making some money. If you're having a hard time deciding between using a graphic-based logo or a text-based logo, you can always meet somewhere in the middle. You can get a graphic designer to come up with a really popping, eye-catchy font that screams, this is an artist you love. I'm talking think Metallica, Eminem. Those are technically text-based logos, but when you see them, you know exactly who it is. Makes you feel good, huh? I love it. If you're using a graphic designer, be sure that ahead of time you talk about if they're going to be getting a one-time fee for their artwork or if they're going to be collecting a sales percentage. Sales percentage for graphic designers works a lot like royalties for music artists, so that's going to be something that you're going to talk about before you get that brand out there. Another extremely useful tool for branding and honing in on a mood and a vibe is color schemes. A good rule of thumb is to have 3 to 5 colors in your palette to identify your look so your fans can recognize your work faster. Maybe put your music on and throw up some different colors, see what vibe fits. If that seems a little too fugazi, you can't quite feel it out like that, then there's some simple things you can do, What's your favorite colors? What are your favorite sports teams' colors? What is the palette to one of your favorite movies? Just play around with some different stuff until you find out what fits, what feels good. Once you find the palette that you like, the colors that you like, next up you're going to want to find your hex codes. What the heck is a hex code, you ask? Well, it sounds like something that a witch would put on you if you walk out in the middle of her set, but it's not. Hex codes are the technical term. It's the way that computers recognize through numbers, color schemes, and color palettes. This means that that specific shade of red, that specific hue of blue is going to be able to be copied throughout. No matter what designer you go to next or whatever you want to put it on, you'll have the specific number for what it's going to be. If you don't know how to find your hex code, you can go online and use different websites. I use a website called imagecolorpicker.com. It lets you upload an image and then it gives you a little bar down at the bottom and it tells you exactly what your palette is and exactly each single color's hex code. Just a little quick tip, a little sidebar. Hex codes are specific for web design. It's different if you're going to be printing the images out and putting them on different backgrounds and stuff. But either way, you want to know what your hex codes are going to be. All right, y'all. Next up, we're going to be talking about your brand's voice. To me, I think this is one of the funnest parts about branding because it's specifically you. Unless you have a team of people working on your social media page, which I highly doubt because you're watching this video, then everything that you say and communicate to your audience comes directly from you. You should take advantage of this. Use the slang that you use in your everyday voice. Use the words, use the inside jokes. All that stuff ties in together for branding. People are going to associate that with you, especially if they're words and phrases that you use in your music. This tightens that net. It brings your fans closer to you and it creates a community. Is your music inspirational? Is your message political? Know what it is and keep it consistent. A perfect example of this comes from our favorite uncle. I love him, you love him. It's Snoop D-O-double-G, Snoop Dogg, baby. He's a master marketing and branding guru. If you remember, he started putting words in his interviews and stuff. It was like a for shizzle my nizzle, off the heezy my kneesy. We didn't know what the heck it meant. And I'm sure he used this language with his friends and in his inner circle for a long time. But once he introduced it to us, we all felt like we were part of Snoop Dogg's inner circle. That's what you want. That's what you want people to feel when they see your brand voice. With all that being said, stay true to your brand. Be respectful, don't hate, and remember, your fans look up to you. Having a massive fan base comes with a lot of responsibilities. Use your powers for good. So my last little nugget before I send you off into the world to work on your branding is consistency, y'all. I said it earlier and I'll say it again, consistency is key. Unless you want to be Madonna or David Bowie and pull some kind of massive personality change in order to sell and promote some new album, you're going to want to stay the same throughout so your fans can get accustomed to you, what you sound like, what you look like. People love things that they're familiar with, so getting their attention can be a bit challenging, but once you have it, keeping your branding on point and keeping your branding consistent can keep them coming back for more. And that's what you want. So you can free up your time, free up that mental space and energy to do the thing that you love, which is make that music, baby. So that's it for our Gable Music Ventures tips and tricks today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If there's something that you want covered in more detail, if there's something I forgot, drop it down in the comments. Let's have a little conversation. I love that type of stuff. If you like what you've seen, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you can get more of our insider tips and tricks when it comes to DIY music and the entertainment industry. On behalf of Gable Music Ventures, thank you so much, guys. Stay safe, take care, and rock on.